Hi, I'm Jason Gorber from ThatShelf.com, and we're here to look at yet another release of Ladies of the Canyon by Joni Mitchell.
Shelf.
We're sort of like in a Joni Mitchell phase here on the channel, not surprisingly. They're finally coming out with lots of new releases tied to her career. It's a real renaissance for people being able to explore her stuff. Um, I spent actually, when I was first getting back into vinyl, I was spending years trying to actually dig up versions. It was actually really challenging to actually get her early recordings before the stuff started getting re-released. Um, this album, it's sort of an in-between record, something that sort of fits between the stuff that she was going to end up doing with complete band and the sort of straightforward, much more acoustic elements. It's got some incredible songs on it. Circle Game obviously is just this glorious sing-song thing. It has Woodstock opposite Big Yellow Taxi is the probably the big giant song on here. Let Up People Know, Morning Morgantown for Free. Just absolutely stunning record. This is a first pressing, I believe it's Canadian. Uh, Warner Brothers Records. This might, yep, distributed in Canada. So this is the first Canadian pressing, and it sounds great. You know, it's Joni. All sounds good. This was a Rhino vinyl release that came out several years ago. Nice cover, decent set, and was certainly sufficient to have these two. Then, of course, they came out with the Reprise albums box set, something that we've talked about on the channel before. This is beautifully mastered by Bernie Grumman. Includes sort of the biggies here. You can see Ladies of the Canyon fitting in. You got the first album, you have Clouds, then you have this sort of transition album right into Blue, so where she went full on, something she always sort of despises, but the whole confessional thing of Blue. I think Ladies of the Canyon and Blue are very much sister records. In some ways, Blue is extraordinary and astonishing, etc. I think in terms of like songcraft, like writing essentially pop songs, Ladies in the Canyon actually probably is elevated simply because it, again, before she sort of decided, you know what, I'm going to write for me rather than writing for radio. It's one of those things. Um, this release on the box set, as we've talked about before, is really stunning. And of course, also on the channel, there's the quadraphonic mix. Completely wonderful that it was released. And so you're like, why do you need another version? Well, it's because they keep releasing them. And what are you going to do? You're a good collector. And so we all know, we've had many discussions, including again here on this channel, about what Mobile Fidelity is doing, that they're taking the master tapes, they're doing a DSD process instead of a quote-unquote straight analog. It's my understanding that this was analog to analog. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with the One Step, and that's what we have here. Just arrived from Music Direct. I probably, as a Canadian, have to keep buying Mofis potentially, but stop buying from them. There are other people that ship these records using methods that don't require me to have to pay additional duty. In other words, the shipping includes the duty already. This one, it cost me to ship and it cost me duty. This was sort of my last time experiment with this particular UPS shipping method. It made it even more expensive than it probably should have been. Nonetheless, I kind of wanted it right away. I didn't want any drama. And inside there, you know, reasonably robust shipping box. I mean, compare this has to be here. Compare this, here's an Acoustic Sounds shipping box, and here's what I'm getting from Music Direct. Obviously not quite apples to apples, but, you know, we're getting something that does the trick, and hypothetically leaves the inside free from any drama. Now, do I need a one step of this? Of course I don't. I already have Blue. Blue is stunning, but you know, it's just a different version of what I already had that was already good. Would have I liked these on 45? Well, honestly, the price difference of $15 or whatever it is between 33 and 45, when you take shipping and all that stuff into that, it's like the difference in record price between 33 and 45 boxes, you know, it's a rounding error. So I would have preferred this to be 45 to have a real fundamental difference between the two releases. Then if I feel like listening to 45, I'd throw in the one step, and otherwise I would not. Nonetheless, here we are, and Lord knows they're going to just come out with a 45 box set just to taunt me. Here we are, Ultra Disc One Step pressing by Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab. It has the benefit of being on the VR 900, I guess it is, compound, which is a stunning vinyl compound, as close from my listening to the original JVC One Step pressings that they did in the late 70s, early 80s. That supposedly, I mean, I love, as a film guy too, apparently that was a vinyl formulation designed to have as low noise for use in CEDs, that sort of vinyl format for video. So if that's true, I love it. Anyway, here we have the usual sort of thin one-step box. Michael Jackson's Thriller, I guess, was the first one that came out this way. I have Blue in this sort of thinner slipcase, as well as the first Van Halen record. Still waiting for 1984. I think that's the only other one I'm going to get from Van Halen. Regardless, ladies and Canadians, so what you do not get with this is a reproduction of the original cover, like you do in other, like Yoshikura box sets, for example, from, or even, I guess Impact's pretty much does the same thing when they do their one steps. They have a thinner box, but inside is a record label, is a record cover very similar to the original. You'll see what's inside here. This won't be abnormal for anybody who's seen this before. Sticker, slightly more gold, weirdly, than normal, but advertising that it is an Ultra Disc One Step, now pressed on super vinyl. So I will try to open this up without destroying anything. See how this behaves here. Hilarious. I might be totally wrong here. As we crack it open, we have records not put in the slipcase. And I am very silly. In my head, because it was in the small box, it was the 33s. And I had just, for some reason, completely forgot. This is why I bought this. And then let's put this in perspective. I pre-ordered this years ago when it was released. I guess about a year and a half ago. Anyway, these are 45 RPM. This is why I bought it. This is the kind of professionalism you can expect on this channel. Nonetheless, you see that I would have bought it anyway. And this all comes back to the smaller boxes tend to be for the 33s. But of course, there's two covers in here. And it's interesting how they package this. They've actually packaged both of these individually without the record in the sleeve to prevent scene splits. So there's no requirement for that. And even inside here, they have these sort of blank cardboardy things that usually are used to protect the records. But the records themselves, sent in the regular rice paper plastic sleeves, are completely separated out during shipping. Very interesting. So what do we have here? We have the usual OMR cover, again, a reproduction of the original. We have the lyrics here. It's going to be very hard to see with all the glare, but nonetheless, you can see the lyrics. And then we have another little blurb here, being more written by Bob Gendron, who's a music enthusiast, editor, and critic, about this particular release. It's an essay, which is kind of nice because in the other set you get people like Meryl Streep writing things in the box set. So why not continue the sort of a liner note celebration of the record itself? So what you can see how they split this up. On disc 1, we have Morning Morgantown for Free Conversation on side A. Side 1, Ladies of Kenny and Willie, and the arrangement on side 2. And on side 3, we have Rainy Night House, The Priest, Blue Boy, and then Big Yellow Taxi at the beginning of side 4, Woodstock Circle Game. Yeah, so just those 3 songs, bang, 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 to close the record. Pretty good. And then the records themselves. Let's see how they actually behave during shipping. So the records themselves, I've found before some marks, some scuffs. And yeah, this is, on this side, looking pretty clean, pretty clear of any schmutz. But on this side, again, because it's translucent, it really shows stuff off. And this is always part of it. And there's like these sort of marks, they look like fingerprints, but I've never found them to actually be an issue. It might just be the way it's handled, the way it's done, but there's this sort of ghosting on some of these records. I think it's impossible to see on camera, but it's sort of like in this corner here. Yeah, you're not going to see this at all on camera, but there's generally, these have played immaculately, even though physically they look like they've been through a bit. I think that's just maybe part of the process, although I don't see that with other VR900 pressing, so I don't know what's going on. I don't pretend to. This one looks even more clean, flat. I see no drama here. And the records itself, quite stunning. It's going to go through my degrader anyway, of course. And yeah, it's nice. I mean, you won't be able to see it, but you can sort of see me through here, poking through. There we are. The translucent VR900. It's so funny. These Mofi sleeves, I have, the vast majority of my collection was actually in Mofi sleeves. And now that I've gone with Final Storage Solutions, these feel chintzy compared to the 3mm ones that I'm using now, like a crazy person. I'm going to take a listen to these. I'll come back with another video afterwards about how they directly compare. But I just want to show you the inside here and just to say, this is what happens when you forget that it's actually 45 RPM. I love it. This totally explains why I bought this again. Because why wouldn't I? Nonetheless, a celebration. And if the fact of the matter is that they've actually gone with this sort of smaller route is a good thing. I should have remembered that from the blue, which is also the same thing. I'm an idiot. What happened? Well, you know, thank you for watching. Thank you for indulging in my in the things that I don't always get right here. But what I do get right is my belief that this record is stunning and well worth an investment. It'll be very interesting to hear this against all the other versions, but more importantly, hear this just to sit back and enjoy. For thatshelf.com, I'm Jason Gorba. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Please visit us at thatshelf.com. It would really mean a lot for you to check out all the other articles on the site. Subscribe, follow us on social media, all that stuff. And we'll see you next video. All the best. Take care.